Even though everyone watching this video may be a Cardinals fan, I know you guys are excited right now, but man, if you're interested in how the Texans have imploded their team, there's a video up on the channel I want you guys to go check out. But let's hop into this video. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Sports Junkies Podcast. This wasn't a scheduled video, but this is something we're uploading on the fly. JJ Watt has just found himself a new home. He was released from the Texans about a week or two ago. And he's just found a new home, and that home is the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this is an interesting location because I don't think a single person actually expected him to end up in an Arizona Cardinals jersey. And I want to get kind of straight to the point here, and I really want to talk about the main reason I'm going to say why I don't feel like anyone saw this coming is because, well, he said he wanted to play for a contender, and if we're being realistic, I don't think the Cardinals are a contender. Now, don't get me wrong, this may be the building block for the Cardinals when we look at the offseason they could have. Their defense seems to be getting on the right track. Don't forget they got Budda Baker back there. I think Patrick Peterson's going to be leaving the team this offseason, but they do have Chandler Jones on the outside, and you got to consider they still have Isaiah Simmons, last year's top 5 draft pick. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this defense rolls next year, man. We could see a world-class defense from these Arizona Cardinals and see if maybe they can get this offense on track. I think that's what they'll focus on mostly this offseason. But when it comes to from JJ Watt, it is a bit questionable. He said he wanted to win. At this point, Arizona is not a contender. They're good at football, but at this point right now, I don't think Arizona is a contender. They looked like a decent team earlier in the season this year. Obviously, they began to slack off a bit. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, how this Arizona team shapes their offseason. It's a little too early to say like, well, they won't win anything. Let's just see how their offseason goes. I mean, we saw the Buccaneers have one of the greatest offseasons of all time last season. So who knows, man? Maybe Arizona's getting something together. They're putting something together. They're trying to run it back and get this thing going again. It's reported that it's a 2-year deal worth $31 million over 2 years, about $16 million, $23 million guaranteed. JJ Watt's going to turn 32 in a couple weeks. He is a bit injury prone, so it's a bit scary. But like I said, this guy's a 5-time Pro Bowler. He's won Defensive Player of the Year 3 times. And he's led the NFL in sacks twice. So, I mean, this guy's a good football player. Arizona's getting a great football player. When I'm looking at Arizona, the only thing that I'm questioning is right now is the contract, really. I mean, I like JJ Watt, but this is the same reason I said he wasn't going to go to the Steelers. I said JJ Watt is not going to take a pay cut. And actually, I got into a beef with this guy on Twitter a long time ago and said, look, JJ Watt's not coming to the Steelers because he's not going to take a pay cut just so he can play with his brother, because that makes absolutely no sense. JJ Watt just got him a great new contract, over half of it guaranteed. He's going to be spending the next 2 years at least with the Arizona Cardinals. We'll see what his future holds after him. It is a short-term deal. So that makes me think like, okay, maybe when this contract runs out, he'll stick his foot in the water with Arizona for 2 years. And then when that contract ends, I feel like maybe he will give it a pay cut shot to come play in Pittsburgh with his brothers. But right now, I just knew it didn't feel right for him to come play in Pittsburgh just to be with his brothers, because I said that makes absolutely no sense. And I had a video planned for Wednesday where I was going to go into depth on this, but I'm going to have to change that video now because, well, he's just signed to a whole team, so it kind of changes that story completely. But this is just really interesting to see from Watt. But I really want to dip back into that, that contender spot. Like I said, right now, Arizona isn't a contender. But like I said, they can have a great offseason. A lot of teams can have a great offseason and go on to find success. Like I said, the Bucs just did it last year. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Cardinals do with the rest of their offseason. DeAndre Hopkins did a little bit of tampering, a little bit of social media, recruiting, and he somehow managed to get JJ Watt to convince him to go to Arizona. But it's weird to me. It stands out because JJ Watt had tweeted out a couple teams. He tweeted out Green Bay, he tweeted out Buffalo, and he tweeted out Cleveland. And I ultimately thought he was going to end up a Cleveland Brown because I feel like that made the most sense for him, because when he said a contender, I'm like, well, the Browns right now I feel like could be one of the best teams in the NFL. They definitely have a top 5 talented roster in the NFL. So it'd be really interesting to see if he found his way in Cleveland. Ultimately, as you can see, he didn't choose it. He chose Arizona. Now, like I said, it's going to be him and Chandler Jones on that D-line. Got Isaiah Thomas lining up, as versatile as he is. It's going to be really interesting to see how this Arizona team looks next season. Like, I just really want to see the type of, offseason they put in, see who they sign. They really need to work on this offense. get this team back in stride. But this is going to be a very interesting signing for the Arizona Cardinals. I hope it fares off, and I think the Arizona Cardinals could be a threat next season. But like I said, I'm going to say it one more time. Let's see what type of offseason they have. But this has been Sports Junkies Podcast, just checking in to let you guys know the update. Just kind of wanted to give my reaction to the whole trade. Well, not the trade, but the signing. And until next time, guys, this has been your boy Kid. See you soon.